There's a quote in The Agony and the Ecstasy by Irving: talent is cheap, dedication is expensive. It will cost you your life. Nothing truly defines the life of Josh Lewis and his dedication to service than these words. In the late afternoon of Sunday on May 3, 2015, Josh Lewis was about his job, which is pizza delivery, when he was attacked. The 19-year-old college student worked at Spinelli's downtown in Louisville and had picked up the pizza a few minutes earlier. Immediately, he got out of his SUV in front of Louisville Norton Hospital in Kentucky at about 2:45 p.m. Lewis was attacked. Local broadcaster WLKY reports. He was stabbed in the back and his attacker stole his Jeep. Rather than head to the hospital for treatment, Lewis stuck by his dedication and made his deliveries on foot, despite suffering a collapsed lung and severe muscle injuries before heading to the ER, where he collapsed. It appears the suspect didn't take the pizzas from him. Being a stickler for customer satisfaction, Lewis called the restaurant to demand for a fresh pie while he was being treated in the hospital emergency room that ordered the food. "It's surreal. I can't believe it happened to him," his regional manager, Willow Rubin, said. As he was taking the pizza out of his car and walking to deliver the pizza, he was stabbed in the back. Believe it or not, he got his pizzas delivered and collapsed in the ER. Rubin thinks that Lewis was not the primary target. Perhaps he was just the wrong place at the wrong time. "I don't think it was really directed at a pizza delivery guy. I think he was just a victim of opportunity of circumstance," Rubin said. "He's just a sweetheart. He's a sweet kid, and we're just so sad that this happened to him. Our hearts are broke. We just want him to be okay," she added. Louisville police officers say the suspect, described as a black man in his 40s, jumped into Lewis' Jeep on 3rd May at around 2:45 p.m. and drove off. A police spokesperson said they are still trying to trace the suspect and stolen vehicle, a black Jeep Cherokee. Lewis's manager said Lewis is in a stable condition after undergoing surgery to treat a collapsed lung. According to BuzzFeed, Macwell, who goes to the same church as Lewis, reports that Lewis was in great spirits and making light of the whole incident as he continues to recover in the hospital. Mr. Welsh went on to set up a fundraising page to help Lewis with the cost of medical bills and college expenses. In just one day, a staggering amount of $3,500 had been raised. Welsh said, "I wanted Josh to feel loved and supported by the community that he so generously and freely gives to day after day." More so, Spinelli's also announced it will be holding an event to raise money for Lewis subsequently. Lewis's story got media attention, and in no time, people were tweeting and sharing the youngster's heroism. One of the tweets came from Breaking Bad star Aaron Paul, who tweeted that the teenager was, quote, "my hero." Probably the reason Lewis survived that long and was able to complete his deliveries is because a collapsed lung is not all that lethal. According to Wikipedia, British statistics show an annual mortality rate of collapsed lungs of 1.26 and 0.62 deaths per million persons per year in men and women respectively. But what is a collapsed lung, and how fatal can it be? eMedicine Health defines a collapsed lung as a condition in which the space between the wall of the chest cavity and the lung itself fills with air, causing all or a portion of the lung to collapse. Air usually enters this space, known as the pleural space, through an injury in the chest wall or a hole in the lung. The medical term for a collapsed lung is pneumothorax. The severity of the condition varies. If there is only a small amount of air trapped in the pleural space, as can be the case in a spontaneous pneumothorax, it can often heal on its own if there are no further complications. More serious cases can involve larger volumes of air and can become lethal if left untreated. Collapsed lungs have different causes ranging from smoking, body type, that's tall and thin men between 20 and 40 years of age, and certain lung diseases like asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD), cystic fibrosis, tuberculosis, and whooping cough. However, a collapsed lung can also be caused by trauma to the chest cavity, resulting from a fractured rib, penetrating trauma from a bullet, a knife, like in the case of Lewis, or other sharp objects, drug abuse, etc. At times, change in air pressure during sports like scuba diving, mountain climbing, or even flying in unpressurized aircrafts may also result in a collapsed lung. Sometimes the lung may collapse without an apparent injury. This is called spontaneous pneumothorax. This is most common in tall, thin men between the ages of 20 and 40, and also smokers. Some symptoms of collapsed lungs include a sharp stabbing chest pain that worsens on breathing or with deep inspiration. This is called pleuritic because it comes from irritation of nerve endings in the pleura, that's the inner lining of the rib wall. Interestingly, the lung tissue itself does not contain pain-sensing nerve endings. Pain in the shoulder or the back. A dry hacking cough due to irritation of the diaphragm. Painful breathing. Sudden shortness of breath. If a tension pneumothorax is present, cardiovascular collapse and shock will occur. This could be life-threatening. When these symptoms occur, it would be wise to request for immediate medical help. Would you fulfill your duty or finish your work if you were stabbed in the back? Share your opinion in the comment section.